But to talk about Jonny, what a cool concept for a motorbike to ride one of the hardest mountain bike courses in the world. Shouldn't work, should it? And he was a boss. Really, really strange. And the suspension on motorbikes, I didn't think was as good as it is, especially his stuff. I think he put motocross stuff in rather than the really soft enduro, but he would land so deep off of the road gap, off of the big drop, and like, he's a strong dude, but like his arms were just boom. You know, you did that on a mountain bike, you're crashing or you're snapping your bars.
Yeah, it sort of doesn't make sense, does it? They're small wheels. I guess
and they're so heavy. Like him and his bike must be 200 kilos together, and then he can land like that far and get stopped. So when we were looking at the road gap, I remember talking to people. I was like, "Well, you won't stop for the corner. How can you? Right? Look how heavy that bike is. Let alone you've got to land and then find the foot brake and whatever. I reckon he could land deep like he did nearly every time and stop before the corner if he wanted to. You know, and on a mountain bike, you go around that. That's the fastest I've ever gone around a corner, and I want to be going slow. It's amazing. I remember G popped up to watch some of it, and you could see his like the cogs turning, and he was like, "There's a lot to be learned from these bikes." You know, like how big they can go. But he, where we're just descending with gravity, he's got a throttle. Obviously, that's obvious, but wait for me. Which made it hard to communicate like speed recommendations, because on a push bike you're like, roll from there. Nearly everyone rolls the same. Yeah. You can pop a little bit, so explain that to your mate and you should get it almost right. For him, he doesn't coast like a push bike does. No. It's like clutch drag. He's got big, heavy, soft tyres that don't roll the same.
And relies on acceleration.
He'd watch me roll in and then he'd go, but then you can't really pull up and pop like you can on a push bike, so he'd like blip the throttle. So there was so much different factors at play for him, which was just more testament to how skilled he is. Yeah. Like you're being shown something wrong for your discipline, and he could adapt that in his head and make it work for his. And there were some bits that he's like a lot slower on, techie tight stuff, and then other bits he's like full speed in fourth gear. For those 100-footers, I've got a video on my phone, he's like, comes over that lily pad, and then he is full chat. You can hear the bike, wah, and then he locks both wheels up the lip, and then just blup. So he's like braking as hard as he can to not jump 100 foot too far. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I guess also it relies on like acceleration through the lip as well, so you can't like...
Which generates a lot of height. Yeah, you can't just keep braking. You've got to add a little bit of... Bop. So it's just the whole thing. I just was amazed the whole time. Really cool project.
Wow.
Felt very lucky to be there. And his time on like a worn out course, because it hadn't been fully prepped, he did 2 full runs and he got close to Jackson's time.
Wow.
Right? The fastest ever hardline time at that point on the old course. And then after we'd said and done, we found that he went like a long way round in the top woods, round a tree, which doesn't sound like a big deal. It's a long way round. So I think like for like course, same time.
How fascinating. I mean, I don't know what I would... Do you know what? I'm not sure what I'd put my money on. If you just gave it to me as a problem to solve, who's quicker down that?
Well, before seeing that, I'd put everything I've ever had on a mountain bike.
There you go.
And like on the project at the start, you see like Tane, Bernard, different people being like, well, will he even get down? Right? Cast back to before you saw the fact that he did.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about that sport, but I know that those bikes are ridiculously heavy. And if you wanted to jump an e-bike off that road gap or off one of those big drops, you are not stopping, you know? And they're like 10 kilos more than our bikes. He's on something 70 kilos more, 80 kilos more.
Right, we can work this.
Grip and brakes.
Yeah, so that's down to the weight being transferred more efficiently to the ground, right? Because it's like more weight, gravity is constant, but he has more weight and he has grip because he has lower PSI and better suspension. Like, why is it that he can overshoot the road gap and then stop sooner than a mountain bike? I think if you were It would be that it's heavier, right?
No.
Why?
Heavier makes it worse. But you're trying to say that the weight's pushing the tyre into the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the weight allows the suspension to be better and the tyres...
Yeah, so the weight...
The weight does play... I think the weight does...
pushes into the ground. You get a larger force into the ground.
Yeah.
But our problem on mountain bikes is that then doesn't transfer into grip.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like...
So if we had bigger tyres...
Yeah, there would be no point in putting on like we've already learned from
I see what
downhill.
you're saying. So the weight's the good thing if you've got the rest of the stuff that will allow it to.
Yes,
grip.
exactly. Yeah, because like you could put a massive rotor on a mountain bike, a downhill bike,
But you just lock.
Yeah, you just lock.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have, you can't like get the power to the ground. I guess is that right? So then you could add weight to get the power to make that braking power effective.
No, it's the grip. Add the weight, it'll make it worse on a mountain bike because you haven't got the grip in the first place.
Yeah, so you need to add
grip.
weight and grip. It's like a triangle.
Yes.
Oh, it's really. What was the feature that you found the most difficult? I mean, I'm sure you could just watch the video, but
That he did.
yeah.
Oh, sorry, I thought you asked me.
I'll ask you that.
He spent
next.
a lot of time looking at the road gap, even running in. He's on like you can't turn round, so he'd like be on the edge and he'd do like a wheelie turn, you know,
Yeah.
and then ride up, and you can't turn around at the top very easy, so he'd like ride up the rock garden and do another wheelie turn in the middle of the rock
Riding
garden
up
and ride
the
back
rock garden
down.
is so hard.
So cool, so cool. That's the bit he spent a lot of time on, just because it's scary and blind.
Yeah.
The last straight he just did because it's small for a motorbike, but he did it so fast, like scrub the last one, really sick. I couldn't say what he struggled with. Probably like the techie camber rock slabs, maybe the rock drop at the top. Do you know that one that Josh Lowe crashed on that lands on a wooden board? This isn't the current year. The last year was the year before.
No, I do know exactly what you mean.
Red Bull branded big rock.
Yeah.
Because the approach speed for that is so low. You like roll and pull so that your front wheel doesn't drop. So for him, he doesn't have that pull. He's got
motorbike's way worse.
He's got a throttle to keep the front up, which then means you land deep and fast.
Yeah.
Right at the bottom of the board, and then you're onto a slick rock slab into a turn. So I think that bit, like, he did fine, but technically would have been the hardest because the way that you ride a motorbike isn't in the favour of that feature.
What's
cool, very cool.
What's your hardest feature? The road gap because it's blind.
No, that's like the one that is just the same every time. It's so repeatable.
Okay. Hey, man, what an episode that was. You did amazing in it.
And so did you.
You shone like a star.
You shone like a moon.
Can we also put something up here that you can click on for the next episode?
How about we put a subscribe up there in the middle?
Yeah, I love
We're going to put a video we think that our lovely companionship will love on your face.
On my face?
Yeah.
And so you can't see me now?
Gone. And on my face, another video that we think people will love. And thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Please hit like and subscribe. You guys are the best.
Peace and love.